Have you ever pondered on the profound meaning of doing the will of God? This question takes us on a journey through the scriptures, drawing from the wisdom of Genesis, the letters of John, the teachings of Jesus in the book of John, and the guidance of Paul in his letter to the Ephesians and Romans. In Genesis, we see the consequences of disobedience. To the woman, God declares, "I will sharply increase your pain in childbirth. In pain, you will bring forth children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam, he says, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat, cursed is the ground because of you. Through toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it will yield for you, and you will eat the plants of the field." This teaches us that disobedience to God's will brings about pain and hardship. John, in his first letter, reminds us that the world is passing away, along with its desires, but whoever does the will of God remains forever. He warns of the antichrists and false prophets who have gone out into the world and urges us to test the spirits to see whether they are from God. His words remind us to stay vigilant and discerning, for it is in doing God's will that we find eternal life. In the book of John, Jesus shares profound truths. He declares, "I am the way and the truth and the life. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. The words I have spoken to you are spirit and they are life. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever." Here Jesus reveals that he is the embodiment of God's will and the path to eternal life. He also forewarns of his betrayal, demonstrating his divine knowledge and the inevitability of human fallibility. Paul, in his letter to the Ephesians, gives us practical advice on how to live according to God's will. He encourages us to put on the full armor of God so that we can stand our ground against the devil's schemes. He emphasizes that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this world's darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. In his letter to the Romans, Paul reminds us that all who sin under the law will be judged by the law, and that those who sin apart from the law will also perish apart from the law. This speaks to the universal application of God's justice and the necessity of living according to His will. To sum up, doing the will of God means living in obedience to His commandments, remaining vigilant against false teachings, recognizing Jesus as the way, the truth, and the life, putting on the armor of God, and understanding the justice of His law. It is a journey of faith, discernment, and spiritual warfare, but it is also the path to eternal life.